OLevels English Language 1123. This video explains the paper pattern of OLevels English Language 1123. There will be two papers, Paper 1 and Paper 2. Paper 1 is the reading paper, which means you will be reading the given material and you will then be assessed on your understanding and vocabulary. Question 1 is the comprehension task. You will respond to a series of sub-questions based on text A, a narrative text. These are short answers. This will test your understanding of explicit and implicit meaning. What do we mean by explicit and implicit meaning? Explicit means to express or explain. Implicit means to imply or suggest. For example, if I say, "Do not climb that ladder, you will fall," I am expressing explicitly. But if I were to say, "I wouldn't climb that ladder if I were you," I am implying the intended meaning. Question 2 is the use of language task. You will respond to a series of sub-questions based on text A. These are short answers. This portion of your paper assesses your understanding of how writers achieve effects and influence readers. Section B, Question 3A is your summary task. You will answer a summary task in response to text B. You will write a summary as continuous writing of not more than 150 words. This question will assess your understanding of explicit meaning and the selective use of information for specific purpose. It will also assess how well you can organize and structure your ideas and opinions for deliberate effect, using a range of vocabulary and sentence structures appropriate to context. Question 3B is the short response task. You will give short responses to show understanding of implicit meaning and attitude in response to text B. This question will assess your understanding of implicit meaning and attitude. It is very important to understand the mark scheme. Marks to every question are mentioned at the end of every question on the right-hand side. A one-mark question means you're required to give a one-word answer or a one-sentence answer. You are not supposed to write beyond the space provided. Now let's have a look at question 1. Question 1A to 1D assess your understanding of explicit meaning. Question 1A. In what way is the structure of redwood trees the opposite of most trees? This question is asking you to give the explicit meaning of the phrase, the opposite of most trees. What does this mean? Let's look at the reading passage. Text A, nameless. Mo and Ma would have finally found nameless. They had been looking for this large redwood tree that no one had ever attempted to climb before. Redwood trees can live for more than 2,000 years and are the world's tallest living trees. Mo and Marwood stood at the base of Nameless, peering upwards into its crown. The structure of any redwood tree is the opposite of most trees, whose branches get smaller towards the top. Now, the question is asking you to give the opposite of most trees. Branches of most trees get smaller towards the top. The redwood tree is the exact opposite. So your answer will be, its branches get larger towards the top, or branches grow more massive towards the top. Both answers are correct. Question 1b. Using your own words, explain what the text means by ancient giant of the forest. Using your own words means that you do not have to copy words from the text. Rather, use your own words to explain the phrase ancient giant of the forest, giving the explicit meaning. Your answer would be, the tree, or nameless, is old and huge, or nameless is very old and tall. Both are correct. Question 1c. Give two features of the enormous trunk of nameless that would make it difficult to begin to climb this particular tree. The question is highlighting the word two, which means you have to give 2 points for your answer. Let's look at the passage. The trunk was an enormous cylinder of soft, crumbly bark. Far above the ground, a few small wispy branches popped out of the trunk, but there were no branches on its lower reaches. What two features of the bark can you find here? soft and crumbly, no branches on its lower reaches. These are the two features that you're going to write in your answer. Question 1D. Give two details that show the relentless speed with which a redwood tree can grow according to the text. You're supposed to give two details, that means 2 points of the growth of the redwood tree, describing its relentless speed. Speed is a quantity, so you will use the figures provided in the passage to answer your question. Let's have a look at the passage. Marwood recalled that in ideal conditions, a redwood can grow from a seed into a tree that's an astonishing 16 meters tall in just its first 20 years of life, increasing in height by nearly a meter annually. After that, it grows faster still, adding mass at an accelerating rate. It can exceed 75 centimeters in diameter at chest height in fewer than 60 years. Your 2 points would be a redwood can grow from a seed into a tree 16 meters tall in just its first 20 years of life. Or, in just its first 20 years of life, a redwood can grow in height by nearly a meter annually. Second point would be it can exceed 75 centimeters in diameter at chest height in fewer than 60 years. Question 1E, F, and H assess your understanding of implicit meaning and attitudes. Let's solve one question to understand how you're supposed to give the implicit meaning. Question 1E. Explain what Mo is thinking when he looked again at the lowest branch of a smaller tree standing next to Nameless. Mo looked again at the lowest branch of a smaller tree standing next to Nameless. Without warning, he leaped, grabbed, and swung himself up onto the branch in one fluid movement and began climbing upwards. You're supposed to give the implicit meaning of this phrase. What is the writer intending to convey? When he says, he looked again at the lowest branch of a smaller tree standing next to Nameless. The answer is, Mo is thinking about whether he can get up Nameless that way, or he's planning to use this smaller tree as an access to Nameless. Question 2 assesses your understanding of how writers achieve effects and influence readers. What is writer's effect? To understand this, let's have a look at this example. Walking into the hallway, Anna was greeted by a host of sweet smelling flowers. To understand the effect of the sentence, look at the words greeted and sweet smelling flowers. What comes to your mind when you think of the word greeted? A warm welcome. What comes to your mind with the words sweet smelling flowers? The place has a pleasant smell. So here the sentence is creating an effect of a warm welcome and a pleasant atmosphere. Now let's have a look at question 2a. Read this extract from the text. He felt gravity go to zero. The world stopped. Mo watched the branch of the large redwood approach in slow motion and saw his fingers extend towards it. What does the writer want to suggest to us about the situation at this point in the story? You're supposed to give the effect the writer is trying to achieve. The answer would be it is a critical, tense moment. Anything could happen. It's a dramatic moment, it's a turning point, or it's a potential for risking his life. All these options are correct. Question 3 is a summary task. For details on how to attempt a summary task, watch the video on OLevels IGCSE English Language Summary Writing.